We have the Pittsburgh Steelers taking on the Cincinnati Bengals. This is your Week 16 2023 prediction and preview video. Hit subscribe button if you're new. Also hit the like button. Let's start off with the home team, the Pittsburgh Steelers. This team is having a tough time right now. They lost to the Arizona Cardinals, then they lost to the New England Patriots, and last week was horrible for his team as well because they came out and they lost to the Indianapolis Colts 30-13. But they will be starting Mason Rudolph to see if he can give them an extra spark because last week, Mr. Trubisky had 169 passing yards, 1 touchdown and 2 interceptions. In this game, Mason Rudolph has to take care of the football, but get some things going deep. They should still try to run the football with Jaylen Warren and Najee Harris. Last week, Jaylen Warren had 40 rushing yards and Najee Harris had 33 rushing yards. They weren't able to get much going in the run game because the Indianapolis Colts stacked the box and they were forcing Mr. Trubisky to go out there and beat him with his arm. Mason Rudolph has to take care of the football, but target guys in space like Deontay Johnson and George Pickens. You can do a lot of screen plays in this game to Jaylen Warren and to George Pickens and Deontay Johnson, but be careful with that. You want to stretch the field. It's easier said than done, but they have the wide receivers to do so. Run more post routes and target the safeties down the field of the Cincinnati Bengals. That's the one weakness to the Cincinnati Bengals defense are the safeties over top because they're very young and very inexperienced. You can target those guys in the space, but you do not want to have too many plays around the line of scrimmage because the Cincinnati Bengals front seven can give you a lot of problems. And usually when you have a lot of plays around the line of scrimmage against Cincinnati Bengals, that's when a lot of turnovers like to incur. But try to run the football, establish the run up front, of course. Take care of Mason Rudolph. But the biggest thing with this team, more than anything, can you stretch the field and can you give Mason Rudolph some room to work and operate in space? As far as the defense for the Steelers, this is going to be tough. Mika Fitzpatrick is out for this game, and DeMonte Casey is going to be suspended for the rest of the season. So the safeties of this team are going to be in a horrible situation as well. You're going to be depending on guys like Keanu Neal. Well, Keanu Neal's on IR, so you're going to be depending on guys like Miles Killebrew and Trenton Thompson, who is questionable for this game. I'm looking at the cornerbacks in this game as Joey Porter Jr. and Patrick Peterson. Can they go out and can they hold their own? Joey Porter Jr. has had a lot of good plays this season, but he's had a lot of bad plays as well. The one thing with Joey Porter Jr. this season, he gets a lot of holding penalties when you don't need them the most, in the back of the red zone and close to the goal line. Similar to what happened last week. Alec Pierce was running a simple fly route. He tugged him, he held him, Gardner Minshew threw the ball, pass interference, and it set the Indianapolis Colts up for a score. He has to stop holding, just ride the wide receiver out of bounds, just stay on his hip, and you can be in a very good situation. And if he can't press as much in this game, give the wide receiver some cushion because Jamar Chase is out for this game, but you have Tyler Boyd and T. Higgins who can give this team a lot of problems. It's going to come down to Cameron Hayward, TJ Watt, and Alex Highsmith take this game over. When the Steelers have won games early in this season, it came off of turnovers and getting short fields. Go out there and force Jake Browning to throw interceptions and get turnovers off of him. He can be in a very good situation. This is not the first time these two teams have faced each other. The last time these two teams faced each other, the Steelers won 16-10, and the defense was doing their job in the second half. They had to come out with a similar game plan and put a lot of pressure on Jake Browning and take that run game away. And I'm also concerned about the middle of this defense as well. Landon Roberts has been a very good linebacker with this team, dealing with the circumstances. He's very good at tackling, but in spades, they haven't been able to cover running backs. Look at what happened last week and look at what happened against Ezekiel Elliott. They give up a lot of big plays to running backs, and be on the lookout for that against the Cincinnati Bengals team. Now let's talk about the Cincinnati Bengals team. You talk about a team that's been on a hot streak. Ever since Joe Burrow went down, this team has been winning football games. Yes, they lost the first game without Joe Burrow against this Steelers team. But last week, Jake Browning was on another level. They started out slow, but in the second half, they got things going. Jake Browning was 29 of 42 for 324 passing yards, 2 passing touchdowns, and 1 interception. He did get sacked 4 times, and that's one thing that I am worried about. You have to protect him up front. Jake Browning has showed in the last couple of games against the Jacksonville Jaguars as well. If you give him enough time, he can read the defense and he can get the ball out to guys like Tyler Boyd and T. Higgins. And speaking of T. Higgins, was a game changer last week. Had 2 phenomenal touchdowns, especially the second touchdown when he caught the ball at the 1-yard line and he extended over the pylon for a touchdown. Get him going in this game. Target Joey Porter Jr. as much as possible. Not when he's in that short yardage situation. When he's on the goal line, he's a very good corner. He got an interception off of Lamar Jackson when just pressing wide receiver out of bounds. But in long range situations, target that kid, because either he's going to get beat deep or he's going to get a lot of holding calls. Target him, but try to run the football as much as possible against the Steelers team. I know the run game has been a struggle for the Cincinnati Bengals because the offensive line has been very inconsistent up front. But the one thing that the Steelers can't do right now is cover running backs out of space. You have Joe Mixon and you have Chase Brown. Chase Brown had a beautiful screen catch that went for a touchdown a couple weeks ago that broke for over 50 yards. You can do something similar in this game. The Steelers gave up a lot of big plays last week to Trey Sermon. And Joe Mixon, no offense to Trey Sermon, is a better running back than Trey Sermon, and he can get some things going. Do some toss plays as well with Chase Brown. Landon Roberts is a solid linebacker, but his athleticism is not there. You can beat this team with the sideline-to-sideline plays and try to do that as much as possible in this game. Just make Jake Browning comfortable, give him enough time, and you can pick apart this defense of the Steelers. Also target them deep as well. I'm looking at Tyler Boyd and T. Higgins to have a major game in this game. Now let's talk about the defense for the Cincinnati Bengals. They were disruptive as hell last week. They forced Nick Mullins to have 2 interceptions. Their secondary still bothers me a lot, but their front seven, when it gets home, it gets home. Sam Hubbard has been amazing this season. Same with Trey Hendrickson. Sam Hubbard has 5 sacks on the season, but he's stopping the run, getting a lot of pressure. Trey Hendrickson has 15 sacks on the season and 2 forced fumbles. Go out there, put a lot of pressure on Mason Rudolph, take that run game away, and force him to get in horrible situations outside the pocket. Force him to drift outside the pocket, you can be in a very good situation. When Mason Rudolph has started in the past, when he leaves the pocket, that is when things get bad for him in this Steelers offense. You won't have DJ Reader for the rest of the season, but you have BJ Hill, who's been phenomenal the last 2 weeks. I'm looking at Logan Wilson and Jermaine Pratt to have a big game in this game, and Mike Hilton to blitz a lot from that cornerback position. All the front seven has to do is get home and make sure the secondary doesn't have a hole up long enough against guys like George Pickens and Deontay Johnson. Watch out for the screen passes and watch out for the motion as well, because this Steelers team, they love to run a lot of end around plays. Be on the lookout for that as well. And they usually run those plays with Calvin Austin III. With that being said, this is going to be a close football game because it's a division matchup and it's the second time these two teams are facing each other. I do have the Cincinnati Bengals winning this game 28-24. But let me know in the comment section below, who do you have winning this game? The Pittsburgh Steelers or the Cincinnati Bengals? If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. If you like the video, hit the like button. Most importantly, want each and every last one, guys, stay safe, stay positive. Thanks for watching the video, guys. Peace.